Oh wow! Oh wow! That is quite.
Because here's why.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Stride Report podcast. I am Ben Weissel, and joining me, as always, Garrett Sadlin. How's it going, man?
Ben, it could not have been a worse possible weekend for football. Not only did the Steelers lose, not only did Virginia Tech get blown out by Old Dominion, and sorry if there's any Old Dominion fans listening to the pod, but let's be clear, that should never have happened. The embarrassment was so bad, we had to fire our football coach.
Yep.
And
this is coming off of like a respectable showing in Atlanta, the game you went to, where they didn't win, but they looked like they could have won going into the fourth quarter.
That was it's just like it's been a very depressing kind of like, I root for Notre Dame football because my brother went there, and then they lose on the last play of the game, and like it was just a tough weekend for football, man. Like it was really tough. So yeah, not great, not ideal. Hopefully you're an Eagles fan, so like naturally. And here's the thing about Belmont: do you guys even have a football team?
No, we don't. No. Which is great.
So you can't get any pain.
I'm a Penn State fan because that's just like what my dad grew up rooting for. So that, we only have pain twice a year, but it's always to the teams that we actually want to beat. We had no pain this weekend. My fantasy football teams all lost this weekend, so that was the pain I was feeling. So I can't commiserate fully, but a little bit.
Yeah, I also lost both of my fantasy football leagues because that was, honestly, you might as well just
get it all out of the way.
Down. Yeah, exactly. Arguably even worse than all of that, no ratings and reviews. Don't love that. Please leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify. Go to the podcast episodes. You see the 5 stars right there on Apple. Go down to the bottom of the page. You can leave a rating and review and comment there. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Go subscribe on YouTube, and shout out to everyone who has done that. Ben, no more football talk. We got some track to talk about. Not really a whole lot of cross-country results to talk about. Some early season rust busters, teams shaking off the rust, but not really anything to really truly chat about. So instead, what we're going to do is this. Want to quickly get your world championship takes and reactions. We're only, halfway through, right? But just want to get your quick thoughts. I'll give a few of my quick thoughts. And then you and I are going to draft. Is it 6 teams for the men and women?
What? Do we want to do 6 or 7?
Let's do 7.
Okay, let's 7.
Let's do 7. We're going to do 7 teams for the men and 7. Are we doing it men and women?
Let's do one for the men, one for the women.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do a draft of 7 teams for the men each, 7 teams for the women each. We're going to do a fantasy draft for this season. That is what we will be doing. And then the caveat to that is that we're going to have once after the top 5, our last 2 selections must be from teams that are outside of the top 25. So that's a fun little caveat there. But Ben, Tokyo, handful of results already coming in. Not a ton, but a handful. I want to hear your quick takes. I know you've got a handful.
Yeah, we got to start with the Cole Hocker experience, the DQ from we're recording this on a Monday. This happened Monday morning stateside. Goes through second in his heat, looks great, and then after the fact, I'm getting a text from one of my teammates being like, "Is this real?" Was a screenshot of him like saying that he got DQ'd. I was like, "No, like it can't be. There's no way." And we keep texting back and forth. He's like, "No, it's real. This is fully confirmed that Cole Hocker gets DQ'd for like jostling through the pack like he does almost every athlete does in any major like championship race, and even not even a major championship race. We see this frequently in any type of 1,500 meter race. My mind is blown. Like I don't know how you call this such a ticky-tacky DQ in a world championship race. I am beyond surprised.
If anything, he deserves an award for the move he made, because for him to fit through, if you watch the replay, for him to fit through that tight of a pack and not really knock anyone off their center of balance, they're about like I don't understand. Like what did he impede? What did he do? Like it's actually insanity that he got disqualified for that. I'm pretty like willing to hear out both sides and give refs some slack. That's insane. He should never have been DQ'd. He actually, I thought, was one of the best maneuvering through packs. Or one of the most impressive, I should say, that I can remember.
Yeah. Again, we see this all the time. I'm curious to know, like, did anybody complain about this, or was this flagged from the get-go? Like, if someone's complaining about this, that's just beyond sour grapes. That, like you said, he didn't actually impede anybody. He was just hit a hole faster than anyone else and executed a very good race strategy. That's the only thing you can complain about. So, all in all, very disappointing to see the Olympic gold medalist not be at the World Championship final.
Yeah, maybe it was Robert Farkin, but I don't think Farkin from Germany had appealed it or anything. I don't think that's what that was. So apparently Farkin's been advanced per Chavez. So I don't know. Very very odd. I don't understand it at all. What was your other takes? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, Ethan Strand, I think great season. Obviously ends in the semifinals, but it caps a terrific year for him on the 1500-meter side. On the men's 3K steeple, I mean, Jordy Beamish taking home the gold. I can't help but be thrilled for him. The guy has had an up and down career, always so clearly talented going back to his NAU time. But you just never knew if he was going to be fully healthy. You never knew exactly the Jordy Beamish you were going to get. But if you knew it was going to be a slower, more tactical race, you can never count him out with his flying kick. And that's exactly what he did here. I mean, fantastic run by him. Really, really happy for him. Disappointed we didn't get to see Kenneth Rooks at his best from the U.S. side, but also excited for Daniel Mikowski making a Worlds final. That's a nice culmination of a long, long years of work on his behalf.
Agreed. No notes. Don't want to be redundant with what you were saying. Men's 10K. How did you feel about those results?
It's just so weird that it was so slow.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would have set up very well for, like, especially Grant Fisher, who's been working on his speed. I'm a little surprised to see him not medal, but I think my overall takeaway is just the final time was a lot slower than I really would have thought at this point in the cycle where everybody's running such fast times. I know no one wants to really take it out that hard, but I'm surprised the time wasn't at least under 28 minutes.
I think Gressier from France, who won that race, I think people were like, oh, it's an upset. And like, yeah, it is. But like, I don't think it was that much of an upset. Like, he's been having a very good year. And in a race that's like, hey, not just an all out, like 2640s type, race. Like, I wasn't totally surprised to like, listen, would I have picked him among my top 3 names? No, probably not. But I thought he's been having like an incredibly good year overall, and I'm not like totally shocked that like he was the guy that if anyone was going to pull off the quote unquote upset, it was him. So I thought he was fantastic. Shout out to the women's steeple. We got who did they send? It was I believe Halliday Lowry, it was Napoleon, and it was Lemon who all advanced. So yeah, kudos to them. Shout out. Kaylee Mitchell, the other American, of course, also advancing as well. Yeah, I really have no other notes.
Just shows the overall quality of the NCAA steeplechase that you're getting the top 3 all qualifying for a World Championship final is pretty nuts. The last note that I have, it comes from the marathon results, which were very surprising. You had men and women who never were All-Americans at the NCAA level go on to finish top 3, top 4 in the marathon. It's just incredible to see how these athletes continue to develop. And I think it's inspiration to anyone who's still running after college that, hey, you could eventually hit a really strong patch and end up running in the World Championships. I mean, Ilyas Inouye, of Italy, formerly of Syracuse, 209.53 to finish. I think it's third. I mean, that's incredible performance, and I'm struggling to find the women's results, but a
The
couple.
Julia Patternane.
Yeah. Formerly of Penn State, medaling as well.
And
I mean,
Arkansas.
just incredible performances from them, and again, inspiration to anyone still running out there that you can eclipse your NCAA results even at a higher level.
Just saying, Americans got to be better on the men's side too.
Yeah,
Men's side specifically, just got to be better. Like this is a field that Clayton Young should get third in. So
yeah, there's a longer discussion to be had about his strategy. That we could have if we were a pro podcast, but yeah, I don't disagree.
all right, let's move off of that. Done with the World Championship talk. And we're going to move into our fantasy draft. So here's how we're going to do it. Snake style draft. You're going to flip a coin to decide who goes first. And then, so snake style means that, let's say you go first, then I'll go second and get the third pick because you already went first. And then you get the fourth pick, you get the fifth pick, I get the sixth pick, seventh pick, so on and so forth until we fill out our teams. 7 teams each. Last 2 teams that we pick must be outside of our top 25 rankings. And so I will let you decide first where we want to start, men or women, and then you will flip the coin to see who goes first.
Yeah, a couple quick notes on the scoring. It's going to be the same kind of scoring as it is for cross country. 5 out of your top 7 teams will score. If you have a team that does not qualify for the national championship, they will be given 32 points as part of your score. So that is how we will evaluate who won at the end of the year. But let's start on the men's side. And Garrett, what do you call, heads or tails?
Heads. You got to call heads.
All right, here we go. The suspense, and it is tails. So sorry. I'm going to actually go second. I'm gonna pick second. So okay. you can lead us off here.
I hate that you did that because I was really hoping that I would still get to go second. My top pick, I'll take Iowa State men. I assume we're starting on the men's side.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Iowa State men. They have the best firepower through 4. They pick up another international name who's a star 10K runner. I like Devin Kipiego. He could be like a 6 All-American in a best case scenario for them. The safest, especially now with, I think it's Mishek Kuto. I forget their new name, the new guy that they just picked up. So, but I think they're the easy number 1 in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I wanted to go second though, because I just feel like there's a little bit of a break after the number 2 and number 3 teams in our results in our rankings. And I will say my board is not structured exactly like our rankings, because there's kind of that idea of, hey, do you want to go for some upside? Do you want to go to be a little bit safer just to make sure you're getting that top 5 finisher? But I will say I'm going to go number 2. I'm going to go not our number 2 team. I'm going to go actually Oklahoma State here. Again, a lot like we talked about last week. I love their firepower up front. I think it's almost unmatched. And I love that they are returning a bunch of guys who have won a national title before. I think they have a great shot at winning this title again. And then with my next pick, I have New Mexico. Again, so much front end talent. These first 3 teams, you talk about like teams that could just load up the top 20. All 3 of these teams, I think, could realistically get 2 to 3 guys each into the top 20. And that is going to be how they're going to be competitive at the very top. New Mexico is no exception. I'm a little bit nervous about them compared to Oklahoma State, just in terms of maybe a little bit more volatility. I trust Oklahoma State. Hey, even if they have a bad day, they still finish like on the podium. I'm not quite as sure about that with New Mexico. But if you're talking about top end ability, they're one of the, I think, 3 teams in my mind that can realistically win a national title. So I'm going to go Oklahoma State with my second pick. Third, I'm going to go New Mexico.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go Oklahoma State, BYU, and I would have been upset because I think I would have preferred BYU.
Oh, interesting.
Just as a value scenario, I am taking BYU as my second team. I mean, they're just historically safer. High floor team, historically elite depth. They still have at least 3 guys who can be All-Americans. I think they're just safe. They're very, very, very safe. And that presents a problem now for the next team that I then need to draft, right? And that next team that I then need to draft is like, okay, are you just going to go down the line and pick Wake Forest? Are you going to go down the line and pick Virginia at 6, Oregon at 7? None of these teams are like feel particularly like safe to me. Like
Yeah.
if Wake Forest still had Aiden Ross, their 28-12, 28-14 10K guy, if they had him, I'd be like, okay, I feel a little safer about this. But I don't trust Virginia in the postseason. I
No.
still think Oregon's incredibly like dynamic and still young, and I still think there are questions and like they're not as proven. So I'm going in order, and I don't like this.
Okay.
I'm going in order, and I don't like this, but I am going to take Wake Forest at 5. Not to. I wish it was a little bit of a sexier pick, but I don't love my options.
Okay. I'm glad you went there because I really wanted to make sure that
And I knew you were going for
Wisconsin
this. Yeah.
was still on the board.
Mhm.
I swung for the fences right out of the gate with my top 2. I'm going with a team that I am like very sure is going to be a top 10 caliber team. I feel like they fit perfectly against my 2 other teams that I have. I really like what Wisconsin's going to provide. I would be surprised if they're a podium team, but I would be even more surprised if they're outside of like the top 10, top 12 when the season's over. They just have so much depth. They have a lot of consistency. Even though they're very young, they have guys that have performed at the national level very, very well. So talked about Wisconsin before. I won't go over it too much, but I feel very good about this pick. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. I don't love, again, similar to your thinking, I don't love my options here for my next pick here. I think I'm going to go. Oh, man. I think I'm going to have to go with Oregon. The Oregon Ducks, again, return some really good young guys. I think Simeon Beerbaum could take another step forward after taking a step forward this past year. I think he could be really dynamic. They have other guys on this roster who have proven themselves at the national meet as well. I think they're a little bit safer than Virginia. Again, a little less upside, but I trust them a little bit more than any of the other teams in this range. And I think I got a couple other teams that are further down in our rankings that I'm excited about picking as maybe upside picks. I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks here.
Fair pick, smart pick, the right pick probably. I'm not taking Virginia.
Yeah, I was going to say, how far is Virginia going to fall?
I'm just not. And it's like, Garrett, is this because you're a Virginia Tech fan? No, but like
not entirely.
Not entirely. But does it fit the narrative? Hell yeah, it does. I'll take Notre Dame, man. I think they're too deep. They're too talented. Like they rarely meet expectations, but they rarely falter so much to the point that it will hurt you. In Virginia, the problem with is that they have not cracked the top 20 at the national meet. I've said this in the last 3 podcasts. They haven't cracked the top 20 of the national meet for the last 3 years, which is insanity. And fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times. Maybe I should just give up then in that case. So here's now where things get tricky.
And this is your last pick of our ranked team.
And this is the last pick of the team that I can find in my rankings. In theory, I should take Stanford. Do you trust Lex Young? Who's the other low stick? The development? How much do we trust Stanford? Now, I actually like their depth. I actually think they're going to have a complete team. I think they'll field a decent amount of top 5, but I don't know if I feel as good about their upside or their floor as I do about another team. That's Syracuse Orange at TSR number 13.
Wow, okay.
I will take the Syracuse men. I think they're one of the most balanced teams in our rankings. I think they have immense depth. I think they have immense upside. I think they have immense experience. I think they have immense lineup options. I think they have a one of the more underrated coaches, at least on the men's side, in the country. And I think I can see a scenario where their ceiling is higher than Stanford's. And I don't really know if I see a scenario where their floor is that much lower than Stanford's. So I think I'm going to take a calculated risk here, and I think I'm going to go with Syracuse as my 5th team.
I don't hate it.
But you don't love it.
I don't love it either. I think this would have been a good spot for you to. I was trying to get you, kind of goad you into taking Virginia, but I feel like Virginia makes a lot of sense with the rest of your team, which is very safe. I think if you're talking about someone that goes, hey, gives you a little bit more upside, I think Virginia might feel that. But I hear where you're going with Syracuse. I was right on the line between Notre Dame and Oregon. I was going back and forth, so I like the Notre Dame pick a lot. But yeah, for me, this is so I now have the last team I can pick from our rankings, and then after that, I can pick a team outside of our rankings. Oh man, am I gonna do Virginia? Oh gosh. Again, there isn't a lot of safe options here. Oh man, I am gonna go. Yeah, I'm going to go with Virginia. It was between Virginia and Washington State for me. I like the Washington State upside.
Virginia's safer.
But Virginia's safer. Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, I'm happy to take Virginia here. I do think it is very interesting, though. We touched on this in our rankings, like while we were discussing this, but these kind of like exercises really make you like say exactly what you think. And the fact that Virginia got drafted 10th in this is indicative of our overall uneasiness about attaching our name to that team. So again, all the talents in the world, we just need to see it on the day of the national meet. So going next. Now this is a tough one too for me here. And the way that I'm looking at the unranked teams is I'm looking for all upside here because it's unlikely that they're going to be scoring for me unless they just have a terrific season and vastly exceed expectations. And because of that, I think I'm going to go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to block you because I know exactly who you're going to pick. I'm going to go Wyoming here. Because I could still get my other team maybe when it wraps around, but there's no chance I get Wyoming. I'm going to go Wyoming, who I think we both have felt like was either 26 or 27 in our rankings if we would have extended them out that far. They return a decent amount. And they just have overall a strong top three that we feel very comfortable in. Now, I don't love this pick because I don't know how much upside they have. This is a team that I could see very well within our top 25, but I struggle to see in our top 15 at any point. But I'm going to go with Wyoming because, again, they feel like a safe option. If one of my top 5 teams blows up, I think Wyoming's going to be right there to pick up the pieces.
So you're right. I would have probably picked Wyoming. Because anyone who has listened to the podcast for long enough, has read the site for long enough, knows that like my gauge in teams and individuals is usually very conservative. I'm usually trying to like play it safe. Very rarely do I make a declaration of someone running an absurdly fast time or a major upset being had. And so Wyoming on paper, compared to all the other just missed and honorable mentions teams that we've had, they are, in theory, safer. So now the question becomes, do I get the team that you want to block you because you
got 2 picks, so you can pick who you want.
I know. But I'm saying, do I take the one team that I want to block you and then go wild in terms of what I predict here? And I think I'm going to do that. I think the team I'm going to try to block you with is Harvard.
Okay, that's actually not where I was going, but
it's the other team that I'm not going to take. Harvard, they lose Graham Blanks, Ben Rosa, Joe Ewing, no award. It's a lot. It's a lot of scoring, and this is a team that already if one thing fell off, it wasn't great. Now, Shane Brosnan is good. Sam Burgess is good. Charlie Ortmans is good. Will Bruner maybe is good. I should say that Will Bruner and Sam Burgess are probably closer related. I have questions about the team's depth.
Mhm.
What version do we get of Ortman's on the grass compared to what he did on the track? Can Kovacs translate the middle distance speed to the grass? A lot of question marks, some optimism to be had about Harvard for sure, but it's not a team that like I have a lot of concrete answers in right now. So I'll take Harvard. The last team,
I'm
I'll
excited
be
to see what you
curious. I'll be curious to see if you can even guess this. I've spoken highly about them before. What team do you think I'm going to take next?
Are they at least in our just missed?
No.
Oh, they're in our honorable mention. Okay. Um. Portland?
No. I'm going Boise State.
Ah, okay. All right.
I think they've got some dudes. I think they brought in Patrick Kiprop from Cincinnati, not Arkansas.
Yep.
They brought in Misha Caillou from North Central College. No, not Northern College, something. I don't know. I forget. I tried my best there. But they brought in a handful of new guys. They returned a few dudes. They lost a couple key names, but I think they could sneak in. I think they've got some dudes, and I think if I just need a high upside, like put all my put it
Yep.
all on black and let it spin, I think Boise State could certainly be the team that happens. So I will take Boise State.
I think Kiprop is like criminally underrated. It's probably because he has the same name as another great runner and has been in Cincinnati away from kind of the eyes of the national scene. But I agree. I like him a lot. If they can put together some other firepower besides him, I think it's not a terrible upside pick at all. At this point, these are all dart throws. For my dart throw, I'm going to go with Missouri, actually, because
Okay.
you have three guys, right? And at least I know these three guys, if they're all running well, and Drew Rogers, Elijah Limo, and Raymond Kipkoech, like we can do something with these three guys. And if their depth surprises and they have a fourth and fifth that are better than we expect, then absolutely this is a team that could be a top 20 team in the country when it's all said and done. So I'm going to go here. I don't feel confident in it, but I feel like they have the most upside out of a lot of these teams that we've talked about so far in terms of if these top three guys hit and they're all like top 75-ish guys, you throw in a couple like top 150 guys, suddenly you're cooking with something here. So I'm going to go with Missouri for my last pick, and that rounds out our men's teams. So to recap, you have Iowa State, BYU, Wake Forest, Notre Dame, Syracuse, Harvard, and Boise State. How are you feeling about your squad now that it's all on paper?
I think there's a part of me that's like I would have liked a little more upside for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I did play it a little safe, but I'm okay with it. I actually think I'm all right with this, and I think all things considered, knowing how your brain works, I thought I maneuvered it pretty well.
Yes, you took some of I was thinking very hard about going with BYU for my second pick, and the fact that you took them, I'm not surprised, but was upset. On my team, we have Oklahoma State, New Mexico, Wisconsin, Oregon, Virginia, Wyoming, and Missouri. So again, I am pushing hard on the upside here. I think there's a chance that I have like two, maybe three teams on the podium, but I also have out of my top five, I think there's a good chance that two of these teams fall out of the top 10 completely, which is very concerning to me when you have a very, very rock solid team that I would be surprised to see any of these teams really fall out of the top 12 or 14 in your entire list. So this was interesting, though. I think very revealing in certain aspects on how we felt about some of these teams.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I at this point, I know you. I know
we know each other too well at this point.
I know at this point, I'm just not surprised. So, yeah, I thought your last team was going to be Villanova.
Yeah, I would if the red shirting room, like if that's real, then they were just not worth the risk for me.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the women's side here. And
do you want to be first or second for this one? You can pick.
I Do you want to give me 2 seconds here? Gosh, do I want to be first or second? I will go second.
Yeah, I think that's the right move here. Okay. For me at the number 1 pick. Ooh. And this is why I didn't want to go first. I'm going to trust the team that
Yep.
helps me with my bold prediction last year.
Yep.
And again, I don't know if they ever the team that has the greatest odds of winning the national championship necessarily, but I do think they have the greatest odds of any of these teams of finishing in the top 3. I'm going to go with the institutional knowledge of Diljit Taylor and the BYU women as my first overall pick.
Yep. Fair, smart. I was like, that's probably going to be the top pick. Excuse me. I kind of regret now going second because I think that's probably the single safest pick in the draft. Yeah, no arguments there.
Just Jane Hendegren, be great. That's.
I think you're fine. I think you're fine.
And that's the thing. Even if she's not great, they're still going to be like a podium team.
Yeah.
If she's great, then they're going to win the national championship.
Yeah, they're going to be on the podium even without Hedegren, and I think that's a crazy statement to say for pretty much any other team except BYU. So, all right, I'll take Oregon, our TSR number 1 team. I'll take them for mine, and then I'm going to take NC State. I'm going to skip over and avoid the other team here at Wyoming. It's a team that might have a little more upside, but I'll take NC State, or TSR number 3 team. I think NC State's the safer team of the two. I think it's definitely
I agree.
Fall, which is crazy because last year we were like, hey, NC State's depth has to be better. The depth has to be better. They're not stable. The back end is tricky. And now they have one of the best back end scoring units in the country. Kate Putman and Bethany Machalik and Ellie Shia and Kaylee Armitage and Fleur Templier and yada, 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 so on and so forth. So, I think they're probably the second safest team in our rankings.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would have gone the same as you. I liked NC State a lot. I was hoping that they would fall to me here because I don't love what I'm staring down here. So I think at number 4, I'm gonna go with, and let me make sure that I am remembering all this correctly. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Northern Arizona women here. I like what we have in terms of overall firepower and depth. You got, you have Balaga, who's been looking really, really good. You have multiple other women, Agnes McTeague, among others. Kira Moore, I think, is pretty underrated as well. I just would be surprised if they're at least not around the podium, if they're not on it. I like them a little bit more in terms of just a safe pick. As far as the upside pick, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't go with New Mexico. There's just too much upside there. They're the team that I think realistically could win a national championship if everything goes right. And so I'm going to land with New Mexico as my 3rd pick for my team.
Yeah, New Mexico, you get a little, not to say scared, but a lot of international names, some of which are still pretty young, and there's questions about consistency and how they translate that to the national stage. And Nicola Jansen's a big part of like why we liked New Mexico so much, and we don't know really like what kind of version of her will we see. Will Alice Seguin translate her 15:33 5K PR to the grass? There's a lot of questions there, but the flip side is that they could legitimately win a national title.
Yep.
They absolutely could. And so that's the tricky part with New Mexico. I hate that you took the NAU. That was the one team I would have really liked a lot, but realized pretty early on that I was not going to get them. So here's the problem. I am now left with, on the women's side, Florida at 6, Stanford at 7, Washington at 8, and Alabama at 9. Teams that are, generally speaking, have lineup structures that aren't exactly like stable, or if they are stable, I don't love the upside, and that mainly provides to Stanford. So I think I need to find one team that I feel very good in their floor and another team that I feel really good about in their ceiling. And so the team with a good floor I will take is Stanford. I think
I was
Stanford,
really
I
hoping they were
know
going to land to me. Oh,
the
that's
problem is
disappointing.
that I think they're too safe. I don't know if they're going to be any higher than 6, but I think they're very safe. And I think they're a very convenient and easy team to take
Yep.
here. The upside, I think, has to be, and I'm going to maybe surprise you with this one. I'll take Washington.
Okay.
I'll take Washington here. I think they have 4 women who could legitimately be All Americans. I don't love their limited depth, and I don't love how they ended last year in the postseason. I thought it was concerning to say the least. But I think they have 4 women who, on their very best days, could all be All Americans. And if you just give me 3 of them,
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 of them, puts you in a top 10 position at least.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I am very upset that you took Stanford. I like them a lot. And I also like Washington a good amount as well. So I am kind of scrambling now. I thought that at least one of those teams would have been left to me. So good picks for you because you took the teams right uh, out of my rankings here. I mean, at this point, this feels very similar to what we were doing with Virginia on the men's side, which is funny because they're also our number 6 team in our rankings. But at this point, I think I have to go with the upside of Florida. I don't love the volatility that could be there, but you can't argue with Chepkoech, Hilda Omamwe. Like, there's just so much talent there. Isabel Jones, again, you know I'm a sucker for the British star that comes in with good high accolades at Bucks cross country championships. I think this team again has some blow up potential a little bit, but I do think they are a realistic podium contender. I'm going to go with Florida as my 4th team, and as my 5th team. I think this was a pretty easy one, and I thought this is where you were going to go when you were picking Stanford. I'm going to go with Colorado.
Yeah.
I just the amount of depth. Like, if you look, I started with safe, and I'm gonna end at least my picks on the rank side with a very safe, solid pick. Colorado, with the amount of depth that they have, it's staggering. They could run through like three out of their top potential 5 might not run, and they still could finish in the top 10 this year. They just have so much depth available for them. Again, there's the Natalie Cook thing that's hanging out there. If she comes back, then they have way more upside. But even without her, you have Ashley Jones, you have Doran Camp. I just really like what we have out of this Colorado team, and I think they're one of the safer picks out of the teams in this range.
Man, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. So here's the thing, because now I am left with teams that like Alabama at number 9. I'm left with Notre Dame at 11, and Michigan State at 12, Oklahoma State at 13. Those are teams that don't necessarily excite you, like in terms of like what they could provide in what we're aiming to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a little uncertain there. I am going to go out on a pretty big limb. And I'm going to do something that I think might surprise you. I'll take West Virginia.
Oh wow! Oh wow! That is quite.
Because here's why.
Okay.
After we posted our rankings of putting them at number 20,
Yeah.
they picked up redshirt sophomore Mercy Kinyanju from Toledo, who's ranked in our top 50 individual rankings. And they also picked up a Portuguese distance runner, Tatiana Mora, who I don't know anything about, to be honest. I have no idea if she's already run for them or have it. Yeah, she has. Okay. But I think there's enough talent here for between Knockout, between Emily Bryce, between Naomi Kemboy, Mercy Kinyanjio. You can begin to see where, like, if everyone kind of hits,
Yep.
It's a different team. And who knows? Who's to say that they didn't add another international name that's not listed on the roster? I needed an upside play. This will make or break the draft. But I think if it hits even a little bit, I win the draft.
Yeah. I again, they exceeded expectations last year, even though they needed everyone to hit in the best possible way, and that's exactly what happened. So I think if you're going to pick a team to do that, pick a team who did that basically the year before, where they got the most out of every single drop of talent that they had available for that roster. And if they do that again, this is I mean, with that addition, I think you probably just slot them somewhere in our top 15. And if they hit their potential, then I think top 10 is not out of the question by any means. So off the radar pick, but I absolutely see the vision there.
Thank you. Okay, and then finally, I got to pick a team from our just Mr. Honorable Mention section. Give me Clemson.
Darn it.
I knew that was the one. Listen, you take mine, I will take yours. Clemson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all upside. I mean, if they land, they landed an international name. I think after, maybe from the JUCO side. It just takes one name to plug and play. And if that granted, if one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. But how could you hate that upside on a just miss team?
Yeah, there was a world where if Colorado wasn't available for me, I was going to pick Clemson as my 5th pick just to get ahead of this. But because I think Clemson has so much more upside than anyone else, not in our rankings, that I think they're an extremely valuable pick in this format. Like I think they're the only team that very realistically could score for our respective squads. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with Villanova. You have Sigstead, Nicole Van Ness. Like they ran well at times last year as a team. You're banking on a lot of development to fill out that roster, but at least you feel good about the girls, that the women at the top. I will go with Villanova here, as again in a region that I think should set them up to make the national meet. I am going to go with Villanova here.
Let me try to guess who your next team's going to be. Do you have it?
I'm still kind of going back and forth. I think I'm between two, I believe.
Okay. I don't think you like Syracuse that much because I don't think you believe in their upside. Nope. I don't think you like Northwestern that much because I don't think you like their upside. You might like Lipscomb because I know you really like that coaching staff. And you might like Oklahoma because of the upside that they have. That's probably where we're going. Liberty there's not necessarily a high floor or a high ceiling. Same thing with Iowa State. Furman lost too much. Boston College is too unproven. I think you're going to say Lipscomb.
You were very close.
Is it Oklahoma?
I
did. So close.
Yeah, I like Lipscomb, and because I think the argument with Lipscomb is you just say, hey, this is a team that we had in our top 10 rankings a year ago. Of course, they didn't pan out that way last year, right. But it's not that long ago that we were thinking about them as one of the best teams in the country. Again, they lost some returners from they lost some of their top runners last year, and they underperformed. So that's the thing that scares me. I'm going to go with Oklahoma in terms of upside. Leah Gerudo. They added Domtila Gerudo. You have multiple other women who have come into the program. Betty Rudo, Sine Hasnawi. I like what we, at their very best, it's kind of the West Virginia angle where, hey, if everything clicks, if everyone translates their times right away into the NCAA system, this is a team that could vastly exceed expectations. I think they're pretty clearly the team with the most upside left, and that has not been drafted so far.
Yeah, I think those are the right picks. I just don't think I get enough upside out of Lipscomb Even if I do like their team, I'm
Yeah.
struggling to figure out now who are these other teams that I'm going to pick is going to be. I think I'm gonna take. Man, I'm so nervous to say this out loud as I kind of go through and look at their roster. I want to make sure I have this. I'm gonna take Iowa State. I'll take Iowa State. They have a handful of really solid women, right? Mael Porter's a low stick. And what I really like about them is that I think Betty Kipkore, whoever from Kenya last year, didn't show it, but she's a 1540s runner in the 5K. And let's say she gets adjusted, she'll be ready to go. Then they picked up someone who I see they picked up Mercy Line Kirwa and Mercy Kabet. So we don't know anything about them. But guess what? Iowa State has a very good history of picking up really good Kenyans. And right there, in a best case absolute scenario, it's 4 low sticks. Not for all Americans, 4 low sticks. So give me Iowa State because I think they have enough depth to back up those 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything on either of these 2 women that they picked up.
Yeah, I mean, the challenging part is that sometimes with these
names aren't right.
the names are always a little different. So
here we go. Mercy Kabet from post on Kenya Sports, but no times. Come on, give me some times. Kenya Sports on Instagram. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Hey, again, I'm not gonna argue with a program, to your point, that has developed overseas talent, whether it's from Kenya or from really wherever in the world. I like that as an option. The Midwest region doesn't strike a ton of fear in me.
Mercy Line Kirwa, she has a 33-14 10K PR.
Okay.
So
solid 4th, 5th scorer.
Assuming this is the correct name. That there's always sometimes duplicates, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's a solid addition. Again, they're competing with like the Oklahoma States and the Minnesotas of the world. I think this is a team that could pick up some points. I don't love it, which is why I didn't pick them. But out of the rest of the teams available, I think it's probably your best bet, at least cracking the top 20.
And with that, I think we're set. I think we accomplished it. Yes.
Yes. So your team, to recap: Oregon, NC State, Stanford, Washington, West Virginia, Clemson, and Iowa State. That just sounds so much like a Ben team right there. That is like very, very upsetting. My team: BYU, NAU, New Mexico, Florida, Colorado, Villanova, and Oklahoma. It feels like we did a Friday right here. I know, that's what I was about to say. Like, this feels like we swapped teams here. I do like the BYU, NAU, New Mexico group, but man, I don't love my back end, I think, as much as yours. I like what you did in your 3, 4, 5 and your 6. I just will always be upset that you have Clemson. Any other thoughts?
No, that's it. That's all I got. Next week we should have GRIAC results, assuming GRIAC is as competitive as it was last year, and then maybe even after that we'll be able to get ahead for Nuttycomb. Is that preview?
Yeah.
Would be next week? Are we previewing Nuttycomb? Yes, right? I think so.
That we're because that will get into October. That'll be the no we wouldn't wait. No, am I reading this right? October 17th for Nuttycomb.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Nuttycomb. Gans Creek Classic. Gans Creek Classic.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, Gans Creek Classic, OSU Cowboy Jamboree. And remember, because they had Nuttycomb last year.
Yes, early because of pre-nats. Yeah.
So, yep. But in the meantime, 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple, on Spotify. Go leave those. Please. Thank you. And of course, subscribe on YouTube and go check out the site. Just finished D2, D3 team rankings. By the time you're listening to this, NAIA team rankings should be out. And the first edition, if it's not out by Wednesday, it's coming out Thursday, then maybe, or at some point this week. But ideally, top 50 class of 2026 distance recruits.
Oh, baby.
People love those.
So exciting.
Yeah, those are coming this week as well, or at least at some point this week, assuming there are no delays. So, but that's it, Ben. That's all I got.
All right. Well, until next week, Garrett, I'll talk to you.
I'll talk to you.